Hello, my name is Jacob Herman, and today I'm going to be showing you my final story project. So, part of this project is talking about what exactly my purpose in life is. I personally feel like my purpose in life is to help others through my financial and accounting skills, and I plan on doing this by helping impoverished youths have better financial literacy through nonprofits that I've either created or joined. I also plan on helping younger entrepreneurs like myself through funding and also helping them get resources. I'd also at some point like to teach at a university setting in order to help influence future generation of business leaders. I'd also like to lead by example in my family by retiring with dignity with a significant amount of savings. That way I could help others in my family as well as continuing to influence the economy and influence younger people. So, moving on to our next slide here, we're going to talk about my epiphany. How did I realize what my purpose was? Well, it came to me in a Publix parking lot in South Florida. I know, not that bright, but still. It happened to me as I was discussing the financial illiteracy in the US to my girlfriend, explaining my frustrations with talking to my friends and coworkers, as it seemed that no one truly understood how to use and manipulate money for their well being. And I also realized during this conversation that you can't simply achieve financial literacy through YouTube stars or your high school guidance counselor. You either have to go find a mentor or you have to go get an education and get that real world experience yourself. One of these YouTubers, in fact, you probably know, is this gentleman, Tai Lopez. Yes, the one that always says,
Knowledge.
yes, he has knowledge, but just not the kind that you would need in order to become financially literate. So, moving on to our next slide. So, we're now going to talk about my values and interests. Personally, I value human life and I value human knowledge. I think it's really important that young people understand how money truly works, that they understand how inflation affects what they have today, as well as what they're going to have tomorrow and the years after that. I also find a huge interest in our financial system here in the US as well as abroad. I also find it interesting how we do accounting in both small businesses and in corporate America. Because of that, I feel like it is my life's calling to become an accountant and have a CPA license so that way I can influence corporate America as well as helping smaller businesses and other people in my life. So, moving on to my strengths, I learned these are going to be the true things that help me in achieving my goals and my purpose in life. I learned these here in the new student experience at Valencia College. My first strength is adaptability. I learned that you have to be adaptable to life situations. I need to be able to adjust to the roadblocks that are constantly going to be in my road as I try to achieve my dreams in my future. Being a CPA and having a master's degree is not going to come just because. It's something that's going to have a lot of roadblocks and it's going to have a lot of challenges. Because of that, I've learned that my second strength, being strategic, is going to come and help. I need to learn how to devise strategies to get around these obstacles by planning courses in advance, understanding how much money it's going to take in order to achieve my dreams, by understanding how many credit hours my future schools will need, as well as what my living situations are going to cost me in the future. My third one is ideation. I understand that it's going to take great ideas in order to stay in college, finish college, and also be able to create future opportunities for myself in the future to be able to continue growing in both the businesses that I'm in and also the businesses I create. Bright ideas are the things that keep our economy going and that help people achieve their dreams. And I know I've got loads of them. So, I talked a lot about how it's important to me that I teach people financial literacy. Just to give you a little taste of what that would be like, I prepared a 1 minute lesson plan for you. Going on to our lesson here, this is going to be lesson one. I talked about inflation earlier. I feel like inflation is a huge thing that young people just simply don't understand, and it's because we haven't lived long enough to experience it. So in here, I have a basic accounting chart that I've learned to use from my classes at Valencia and also by myself. In this first graph here, we have a dollar here. So this is meaning, what is a dollar worth? Well, the average US inflation rate is 2%. That means your money is devalued by 2% every year. So think about it like this. If I have a dollar this year, it's technically worth 98 cents next year in today's terms. You don't notice it as things go year by year, but 10 years from now, it adds up. For example, we see here in my chart, I have 82 cents is what a dollar is worth today 10 years ago. So for the same item or that dollar tea at a gas station, it used to be 82 cents 10 years ago, but now it's a dollar because its money has lost value over these several years. The same way how now 10 years from today, a dollar would actually be the same as having a dollar 22 in the future. This is why you must have heard your grandparents say so much that, well, back in my day, gas was only 25 cents. Well, it makes sense when you understand how inflation works. As the US government prints more and more money means that each dollar is worth a little bit less and a little bit less. Also, through world events such as coronavirus, you're also seeing hyperinflation, but we won't get into that today. And that's just a taste of what I want to teach younger people as I get more experienced in my field and I have more resources to be able to do so. So, moving back to our PowerPoint. So now we're going to talk about my career goals. When it comes to what I'd like to be in life, I'd like to be a CPA. That is a certified public accountant. There are 6 main requirements in order to sit for the exam in the state of Florida. You have to get 120 credit hours. This would be your bachelor's degree, which I plan on getting at the University of Central Florida. You would also need to get an additional 30 credit hours, and that would be through a master's program. Again, at the University of Central Florida, I'll be trying to achieve a master's in science of accounting. You're going to see here in our requirements that they have all the credit hours listed out. You could also do things such as QuickBooks certification or Sage. These are two accounting softwares that are pretty popular in the field that most people use. If you were to just get those certifications alone, you could be looking at a job from 17 to 18 bucks an hour at an entry-level CPA's office as just an assistant or a intern, if you will, just learning the ropes of the field. Moving on to our next slide here. This is the degree I plan on getting from UCF, the MSA in the long term. MSA degree, I'm just going to read off the slide here. The MSA degree, along with the appropriate prerequisite work from an undergraduate degree in accounting, satisfies the educational requirements to become a licensed CPA in the state of Florida. That's really important. A lot of people have the impression that if they can pass the test, they can get the license. It doesn't work that way. You have to get the groundwork before then. You have to lay that solid foundation of courses before you're allowed to sit for the exam. That's why it's so important to get good grades and pass all of the classes necessary in order to get that degree, because then you'll be able to sit for the test, and the test is where the real money is. So these are just a couple of jobs that are available in the Florida area. I just did a quick Google search because the project is about where I am 5 to 8 years from now. These are some of the jobs that I would be okay with, specifically the 2 on the right and the 1 on the top left. The job at the bottom left is what I plan on getting as I get out of college for my bachelor's degree and I go towards my master's program at UCF. Something like this where it's entry level, working in a CPA's firm, and just kind of learning the ropes. I'm not going to be making a ton of money, but I'm going to be gaining a ton of experience. And that's eventually going to lead to the gains later in my career, which will allow me to have the resources necessary to fully fulfill my purpose. Moving on to the next slide, we're going to have our last chat here. So in our last chat, we're going to talk over my lesson plan here. So moving on to the final lesson, we're talking about the total cost of my education. Realistically, with just the ballpark, my education is going to cost $92,000 or $92,160. I got that from the chart you can see below. Obviously, education's pretty expensive, with the bulk of that being rent. Ooh. But it is what it is. The degree costs a lot because it's worth a lot for the long term, and I fully feel like I'm ready to take on the loans and the financial responsibility necessary in order to achieve my dreams. With the median income of a CPA/MBA holder in Florida being $85,000 to $110,000, I feel confident in my ability to be able to repay my loans that are going to approximately be about $45,000 to $50,000 based off of my financial resources that I have, such as GI Bill Chapter 35 dependent through my father, and also through loans and grant money through FAFSA. With that being said, we're going to go back to our slide for our last part here. So that's basically the main part of our last chat, is me saying that I fully understand the financial requirements that are going to be asked of me in order to achieve my dreams, and I feel fully prepared, but also I feel excited to learn about what the accounting field has to offer for me in the future. I've met a lot of interesting people through my time already being here in Orlando, and I have to say that I'm really excited to see what my future holds. With that being said, have a great day. I appreciate you listening to my presentation, and yeah, have a great one.